Well, Jersey's very own paparazzis here for little these intimate shots. They'll be out a little. It'll be no doubt report in the various journals. They'll be reporting on the dress code for the day and other important matters. And I'm not entirely sure that the sound was working on my first take. But this is the members' entrance to the States building. That's the little scene. They've got a brass plaque, and above they've got a little royal coat of arms to give it legitimacy. And they will go into that door or the royal court down there, I'm not sure where, to swear themselves in, swear their oath. Of course, they all take an oath to uphold and maintain the laws and usages of the island, and whatever other grand words they can dream up for the occasion. Of course, they've all got manifestos which they've published, and all the promises they've made to do. They've got 4 years, but they'll be sworn in, that's all today. Then during the next week or so, they will be sorting out who gets the official jobs, the ministries, obviously. I think first of all they're going to have a bun fight, who's going to be chief minister, and of course they've got a ready-made government in the Reform Party because they've got enough to form a council of ministers. But the campaign is, of course, now not to elect them but to find an alternative, because there are several pretenders to the appointment as the government, the chief minister and all that. So sometime today, I don't know exactly when, because accountability hasn't fully cut in yet. We are still the public, and we have to be kept in our place. But they will be, over the next 4 years, there will be ample opportunities, all those who get sworn in today, ample opportunities to show whether they're good or bad, whether the public made a good or a bad choice. So, this is it. This is the door from which they go, and once they get in there, it's something I've observed over the years. Carry on. Something I've observed, that they spray them with something inside there. They've got a magic spray. Once they've sworn them in, they're giving it's a bit like WD-40. And all their promises that they make at the election to get elected, they somehow become slippery and up for review and no longer applicable. So, in a word, it's what they call public discontent, and it has 4 years to mature. But of course, whether it will, this 49, they've all been chosen, or more or less all been chosen. And this is the first day they'll swear in, they'll make an oath, promise to uphold and maintain the laws and usages of the island and other such things. Of course, none of them actually know what the laws and usages of the island actually are, because there's no published book on the subject. You have to go find out as best you can. But no doubt they will have plenty of bright ideas how to write new laws and to amend existing laws. But they should be hereabouts now coming in. I won't recognise half of them because they are new faces. Well, of course, old George II up there, he's seen it all before. He's seen governments in Jersey come and go, some quietly, some with a bit of noise. He's still got a few bullets in him from his 1781 was it? He's got a few scars from that. 1769, of course, you mustn't forget, when the government was overthrown by the Jersey people. But he's still here. Obviously the Queen, it's unlikely that the Queen will last beyond the next election, which is 4 years' time. So who knows what might happen. And of course in the Commonwealth, out there in the wild countries, the Caribbean and elsewhere, people are cancelling their relationship with the Queen. They're going independent, and that might yet happen. I see in the Isle of Man there's quite a strong lobby to get rid of the Lieutenant Governor, so who knows what might happen in the next few years. just to remind us all, that little brass, or whatever it is, copper plaque says, the royal arms above this door were originally placed above the door of the former royal courthouse, built on this site between the years 1764 and 1769. Well, of course, 1769 was the year of the great uprising, the riot. Tom Goochie and all his friends who stormed on the royal court that day and disrupted it because they were looking for all sorts of reforms and changes. And some of those reforms and changes have still not been implemented, even to this day. So the process of reform is a very long one. And there will be changes, of course, made in the next 4 years, but whether they will be to the benefit of the general population, I don't know. I feel sure that they will be of benefit to the finance sector, but that's the way it goes these days, isn't it? Well, of course, we always wonder what they're going to publish. You see, you can... oh, I just see the Lieutenant Governor's car has arrived, so I don't know, it looks like an empty car. I don't know if he's defected. But it'd be interesting with the paparazzi to see how they play the reform presence in the States, because obviously the official line, they've got to be discredited somehow. So whether it'll be their dress, which isn't satisfactory, I don't know. But they'll find the campaign will start today in abundance of insults, of little subtle things of why reform, with their majority of seats, with 10 seats, why they shouldn't form a government. You see, now they've got to discredit that notion. They've got to try and get somebody, anybody, who can fill a role and create get another little group together and put their names up as a government. In fact, they've already got one with the Reform Party. That's not the issue. They've got to discredit the Reform Party now. So the battle will commence from today. Well, clearly this is Reform Corner here. It's a bit like, well, it's good to see. I mean, seriously, it is good to see an organised party which has become organised. I mean, it's quite, for Jersey, this is really quite something. And we have great expectations. I don't know why Mr. Ferry didn't join them. I'm sure, but no doubt he will. Before the 4 years are out, he'll probably join Reform. I would think he won't find a happy place where he's planning to go. But no doubt. Here are they, they're coming out in droves now, look. They've all been sprayed with the magic liquid. I went into the Gref bookshop, or whatever they call it these days, and asked them if they had a publication yet showing all the new faces, but they haven't done it yet. Now they're going to produce something soon, so that you can pin it on your wall in the appropriate room in your house. I was hoping they were going to make it in the shape of a dartboard, and obviously somebody will have to go in the middle of the dartboard, but I haven't put that suggestion forward yet, but I will do, no doubt, after very little time. Of course, I haven't got a clue who about half of these people actually are. It's not so much who they are now, it's who they will be within a couple of years. Who shall we despise in a few years? This is what it's really about, isn't it? Because there's that process, isn't it? I'm not very optimistic, you see. This is one of the reasons. I'm a bit of a pessimist. I can't see Mrs. Moore. I don't know where she is. I know she's here somewhere, obviously. Whether she's going to emerge like the Venus de Milo out of a big dish, I don't know. But she's obviously got a following. But of course she represents, to a large extent, the finance party. So she's got a bit of a head start. I am called. There's one question which this is Hilary Jeanne, representing which area? 3 parishes?
So St John, St Lawrence and Trinity.
Ambitious, are you?
Absolutely ambitious, but I know I've got lots to learn, so I'm going to be listening.
Do you think first-timer newbies should be ministers?
Oh, that's a really difficult question. I think it really depends on also their background and the work that they've done in the past as well, because a lot of that can be taken into ministerial roles. I think they can pick it up quite quickly. Also having a very good team around them is really important.
Is your past useful for what you're about to embark upon?
Absolutely. I've been scrutinising European Union policies for 20 years, so I can do lots of.
So you'll be in charge of fishing negotiations straight away. You will relieve Mr. Gorst of the pressure.
Maybe.
Have you followed that discussion?
We have not followed that discussion yet.
Well, you'll have a bit of a catching up to do, but you'll put your name in the hat for something.
I will probably put my name in the hat for something, absolutely. Don't want to sit back, there's lots to do.
Okay. Well, there are loads of issues I'd like to discuss with you, but I won't. This is first day, you've just signed in. They've sprayed you with the magic stuff, which will knock all the stuffing out of you. You won't notice it at first, but as the years go by, you'll suddenly find, I feel sure, because it always happens, people lose their early radical motives. They seem to get sort of a bit subdued. Do you think that'll happen to you?
Well, I hope you're here to keep asking me the questions and make sure that I keep having
well,
that
the press, so-called press, the paparazzi here, they do their best, but it's rather inadequate, isn't it? People like me can't be relied on. We've got no resources. So an opportunity like this, we get you all here, and you want to be seen in a good light. No problem, no reason why not. You said all the right things. You've got the electorate to vote for you. So, the start of a good process. Is it democracy?
I think it is definitely democracy. We could do better on voter turnout, and I hope to help try to figure out how we can get more people to the polls in 4 years' time.
Do you think more will help?
I think more will show more democracy.
Right. Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Well, here's our new government. Oh, they don't call it a government at this stage, do they? I don't know quite what happens to them before they get to call it a government, but these are they. They've all been sworn in, I take it. So, presumably I don't know if they still call them elect, deputy elect and all that sort of nonsense. Deputies. One of these deputies came out to speak to me. I'm privileged, indeed. So, you've got a government ready to go in place. There's no need for the next nonsense of the next week. Just slot you in, isn't it?
Well, we've got a government called the Christina Moore Party, haven't we?
Well, I thought you're ready-made. You're already there. There's no need. You've got 10 people. That's enough to form a council of ministers, isn't it? Just put you on block.
Are you recording?
Yes. I haven't got your face on there.
Nice.
Is it?
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
It's Brian. It's been a few times you've been in now, isn't it?
This is it. They still talk about them as being inexperienced. Well, he's been there.
Your sons.
I'm his son, yeah. I mean, no doubt all the secrets will come out soon enough, but you've seriously got a little government lined up, ready to go in.
We've got a cabinet, whether it's a shadow or an actual one, it's a different matter.
I hope you will start, if you're a shadow, I hope you will start using that term, shadow, because it wants raising the game. I was pleased to see that you were having a parliamentary meeting, just to give it credibility. That's what it needs. You've done, I must say, you've run an excellent campaign. I hate to say it. But I don't hate to say it, really. It's what we want, it's what we need.
We run an overt campaign, so all of our candidates are elected overtly on a clear mandate and manifesto.
You see, when the Jersey Rights Association was in existence, they had about 4 members who were in the States. But they would never say they were members of the Jersey Rights Association. They kept it quiet. So they'd speak in the States and give no credibility to the Jersey Rights Association. Of course, it folded. Now, what you're doing now is absolutely right. You're declaring, look, this is a party, it's an official party. We're proud to be members of the party. You know, and that's as it should be. So I have great hopes for you, but of course in 4 years, I've just been saying there's the magic spray over there which they spray on you, and once you get in there, you've already had the magic spray on you, and it doesn't seem to have made a lot of difference, does it?
We've had the secular spray.
Secular spray. Yes.
Good, we'll talk again.
Okay. The last big interview you did was about your proposition to go on the senators. Now you went to the Privy Council with that, didn't you?
Yes, that back in 2010. We
Just a little
yeah, sure, okay.
I'm with, for a few more days only, Senator Farnham. Are you still, strictly speaking, Senator? You've been sworn in as something different.
I actually stopped being a senator about half an hour ago when I was sworn in as a deputy, yeah.
Because you took a petition to the Queen years ago about not reforming the senators.
That's right. When it was first mooted, I took a petition signed by a number of islanders to the Privy Council, which meant there was a delay in the legislation being approved. But during that delay, the states changed their mind and made another decision, and the senators remained until recently.
Do you think that procedure, because there is so much discontent about with the public, that procedure of going to the Privy Council, obviously it doesn't go to the Queen, it goes to a department, justice or whatever it goes to. Do you think that procedure should be revitalised a bit? Because there is clearly a lack of provision for the general public to take their complaints somewhere.
Well, the provision is there, and I think the general public have a right and should have a right to object and to deliver petitions wherever they feel necessary. Of course, their main democratic right is through the ballot box, but there are...
That's every 4 years. Is a bit,
yeah,
if you've got a weeping sore, it's got very sore in 4 years, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. In Jersey, I think we're probably amongst the most approachable and accessible politicians in the world, and I think now we've got all states members representing parishes, constables and district deputies.
I should be interested, but historically I must say I do disagree with you.
Yeah.
People hide behind they've got some conflict of interest or some reason why they can't represent people, and that's been a saga for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in the new form of things, do you see yourself being a minister?
Well, I've got a lot of experience as a minister.
Right.
I think the island want to see some change, but we can't have all change. I think some experience needs to be retained. We just have to wait and see. There's no deals being done or anything like that.
There's no reason why they can't create different ministers.
Well, absolutely. I think the new chief minister will want to do that. Will want to have a look at how the ministries are structured.
If, for example, they came along and said, "You'd be an ideal man to have as the Minister of Tourism. Stick to tourism because it needs reviving." Would you be interested in something like that?
I think so. I'd have to sort of think about anything like that though, because I've just come through a very hugely challenging and difficult 4 years. So
you certainly had some stick on the blogs and the so-called social media.
Yes. Well, you know what they say, Mike. If you want to avoid criticism, you have to say nothing and do nothing. And I've tried to do a lot.
Obviously, you're talking to people. Offers are being made?
Well, not at this stage.
No?
No, not done any deals, and I think we've got to just wait for the Chief Minister to be elected first before we start talking and discussing how the new government might look.
I mean, can you indicate generally where your vote might go? I'm
going to be supporting Christina Moore for Chief Minister, yeah. Having said that, I'm not sure how many candidates are going to be running. I'm not sure if Sir Philip's intention is still to stand. We know that Sam from Reform Jersey is putting his name forward.
Obviously, you'll gather my initial reaction. I'm not a member of Reform, but they've got a ready-made. They've got 10 seats. They've got 10 people. They've got a ready-made party just to be the government. I mean, why not? To me, that's my thinking.
Yeah. Well, I think it will be good that there'd be an election for Chief Minister, and it's going to be an interesting day.
Okay. Thanks for speaking to me.
Thanks, Mike. All the best.
This looks like Better Way Corner. There are a few in here. There's a young man he's obviously got ministerial qualities, hasn't he? You can spot the ministerial qualities.
Come on, 2 or 3 of us, yeah, what the hell? Thank you.